So, hi everyone, and thanks so much for joining us today. And today we're going to be looking at the topic of tasks and how you can use the task management tool within Clinked. So, we're just going to meet our team for today. So, this morning you've got my colleague Anna and myself, Hannah, to talk you through our agenda for today. So, again, we're going to be focusing on tasks. So, I'll talk you through what a task is in Clinked and then give you a user story example. And then we'll look at which member types can set up tasks, and then how to manage and create tasks. And then we'll look at our recent task updates and where you can find those within the portal. And then we'll have our resources section at the end. And as usual, we'll have our Q&A session at the end. So if you think of any questions as we're going along, feel free to put them in the chat box and we can answer those for you directly at the end of the presentation. So firstly, we've just got a question for you. So how often are you using Clinked today? So if you could fill that out for us, it will just pop up on your screen. So if you could fill that out, that would be useful. So it actually looks like 100% of you are using it every day, which is great to hear. So thanks for filling that one out. And as we're focusing on tasks this morning, how do you keep track of deadlines in your business currently? So you can see you've got a few options there. Yeah, I would like to rely on brain power myself, but I do tend to need some sort of notes or online system to help me remember my tasks. But yeah, it'd be interesting to know how your organisation manages it, especially when working remotely as well. Okay, so it looks like quite a mixed bag. But yeah, quite a lot of you are using the Clinked task management, which is great. And then some of you are using calendar reminders and online to-do lists and email notifications, which yeah, you'll receive if you use Clinked tasks as well. You'll get email notifications for them. And then some of you like to use pen and paper, traditional way of doing it as well, which is nice. And I guess, yeah, I tend to use a mixture of phones myself. So it's good to know. So now we're just going to have a look at the benefits of using a task management system. So we've identified the main benefits of these to be ownership. So you can sort of assign people to tasks. So you can see in the picture, we've got sort of people's images like Sam and Olivia there who've been assigned tasks, so they can sort of take ownership of their tasks and know what they've got to do. And then organisation, we identified as a second one. So in a remote working environment, a task management system is a great way to keep track of your deadlines and deliverables. And you can see from the picture, it's sort of a way just to keep track of what's going on with your client groups or your internal team at a glance in a sort of visual way. Because where in the past you might sort of had a team whiteboard or something like that. Now in remote working, it's good to have it sort of like this or something similar so you can just keep track at a glance. And productivity as well, because obviously if you're sort of assigning team members tasks, it will sort of give them the motivation to sort of complete them as quick as they can. And you can see in Clinked there, we've got sort of the ability to put a due date. So you'll be able to know like when things are due and then keep track by the status as well. And the final key one we identified was transparency. So in client relationships, there are tasks that both parties need to complete to successfully move forward. And a client portal or task can help achieve more together by keeping transparency across all parties of where tasks stand in real time. So firstly, I'll just talk you through what a task is in Clinked and where you can find this. So yeah, obviously a task is normally like a piece of work or project that needs to be completed. And yeah, in Clinked you'll find it. You can see there you've got all your content types. So in Clinked, task is one of our sort of 5 main content types. So you can see you'll find it there at the bottom of the menu. And where the circle is, you just need to click into that to access your tasks. And in Clinked, you can set up task categories and sort of color code these. So you can see here we've got the client reporting that we've colored green, but you can have sort of multiple task categories, and then have the tasks underneath to keep track of your tasks within Teams. And you can sort of copy and paste these, but Anna will talk you through that a bit later on. So now we'll just look at a quick user story example. So you can see here we've got Budex clients, and there's Amanda and Sam who both have client-facing roles and work for Budex. And then this is our partner, Willow Bend Investments, and we've got the clients Francisco and Evelyn who work together with Amanda and Sam, and they both use Clinked to sort of collaborate on their tasks, and use tasks to make sure they know where they're at and things. And collaborate on documents and things like that. So we'll look at who can create tasks and which member types. So Amanda and Sam, they're both admins. Amanda is a super admin and Sam is a group admin for a group. And that both means that they both can create tasks in Clinked. So if you're an admin, and that can be super or group, that means that you have the ability to create tasks. And then we have Francisco, who is a standard member, and then Evelyn, who is a basic member. And the standard member will also be able to create tasks, but Evelyn is a basic member, so she won't be able to create tasks, but she will be able to view tasks and see the task categories and things, but she won't have the ability to actually create them. And then we'll just have a look at managing tasks. So I've just sort of like created an example for you here of a client onboarding. So you can see the clients can sort of log in and see which forms and things they needed to complete and when they needed to do that by. And if it was in progress, you can see which ones are in progress and which ones are not started. And you'll have the ability to assign them to different members of the group. So you can see here myself and Anna and Sam have been assigned certain tasks. And you'll see there there's a task hunter, so you can see straight away that you've got 5 tasks and things like that. And you have got a filtering option at the top, but Anna's going to talk you through that in a bit more detail later on. And you can see there's that priority next to the induction pack, so I know that's the most urgent task that I need to complete because it's got that urgent mark on it there. But yes, if you want to edit a task or create a new one, you just basically need to click into the task to edit it. So if we just, for instance, take this induction pack task and just click into that, it will come up like this. And this is where you can edit it. So you can firstly put in a title for the task. So I've just called it an induction pack. And then the yellow box is quite useful if you want to make notes or give instructions on a task. Like sometimes in our team, we'll have a chat about a task and then someone will put in sort of the notes and things for a bit of guidance to just to help you remember what you need to do. And you can also add in links as well. You can see this link button here. So if you wanted to say link it to an article or something like that, that would be helpful to help them complete the task. That's where you would add that in. And then you can assign the task category. So any of the categories you've created, you can assign the task to one of those. And then you can see we've got the status. So like I was saying earlier, you could put it as not started or complete or wherever where the task is at. That's where you would do that, just using that drop down here. And then we've got our new priority feature. So you can see I assigned it as high priority. So that's why it was showing with that red arrow. But you've got different options for priorities as well. And then you can set a due date and a time. And you can also set up task reminders. So if you want people to sort of get notifications and reminders about this task, you could just tick that box and it will give you options of when to send those reminders out. And then to assign the member, simply just click assign to group members, and you can see I've assigned that one to Anna. And then I would just need to press save, and that would then come up in the task category. And then I'll just show you how you would actually create tasks. So yeah, you just need to navigate to the task section of your portal in the group, and then you just, where that says, it says add tasks, where the arrow is, you just literally need to enter into there a task name, and it will just create the new task instantly. Equally, you can use the drop down next to new category and just select the drop down, and it will give you an option to create a new task there as well. So it's sort of up to you. But yeah, the quickest way would just be to quickly enter in a task name, and then you can just edit it accordingly. But with that, I'll just hand you over to Anna now to talk you through task updates.
Great, thank you, Hannah. So yeah, we've recently released a number of new updates to the task section, just to really try and enhance your experience and make it make your productivity as high as possible whilst using the tool. So that's what I'll just be walking you through today. The first one is task priorities. So Hannah did just touch on them slightly there, but to go into a bit more detail, you have now got the ability to set priorities on each of your tasks. And when you set the priority, it will then display a small icon next to the task. So it will be, the icon will be a different color depending on the priority of the task. So here are all of the different options for the priority. So you have urgent, high, medium, and low. And this is where you can select the priority just by editing the task, as Hannah just showed. And then once you click save, you'll be able to see the priority coming up next to the task as so. And you can also filter by priority as well. So you can look at all of your most urgent tasks. So this is just a small but very important addition to increase your productivity by prioritizing your workload. And this was a highly requested addition to the task section by our clients. So the next update is copying task categories. So this means you can now actually copy a whole task category and as well as all of the tasks within the category. So you can copy and paste them either within the same group or to a different group as well. So this update is just a massive time saver if you have a lot of the sort of same tasks across lots of your different groups, rather than having to create them all manually across all of your groups. You can simply set up a sort of template task category and then just copy that by selecting the drop down there and just selecting copy. And then once you've selected that, you'll see this button giving you the option to paste the category. So this will also, it will paste the task as well as the task priority, but not the owner, because you'll probably have different owners to assign. So yeah, but again, that's just a nice update to save some time. So then we have advanced filtering options for tasks. So you might remember previously it was quite difficult to filter your tasks. You could either just view all of your tasks that haven't been completed, or you could show the completed tasks as well. But we received feedback that our clients wanted more filtering options. So that's what we've added. And you can now filter by all of these different categories. So you can filter by the task assignee or the task status. So you can look at all of your tasks that are in progress or overdue, for example. And then, as I just mentioned, you can also filter by priority. So looking at being able to look at all of your most urgent tasks. And you can also filter by due date as well. So finally, this is probably the biggest update we've released on tasks. So this is the dashboard task summary. And this feature is accessible to anyone who's a member of multiple groups. So you don't need to be a super admin, but you just need to be a member of multiple groups so that you've got the sort of main dashboard view. And then you can access this just by selecting that icon at the top of your dashboard. And when you click that, it will take you to this, this sort of overview summary view. So this shows all of your tasks across the whole portal, not your tasks, but just all tasks across the portal, across all groups. So as you can see on the left there, there's a list of all your clients or all of your groups. And then what it does is groups all of your tasks into the categories. So you can see the task category there in the middle. And you're then able to see the progress in terms of how many tasks have been completed or how many are outstanding. And so as you can see there, next to the categories, it lists the number of overdue tasks. And that's when it will tell you that the status is off track. If it's past, any tasks are past their due date. So that's just a nice overview of task categories across the portal. If you wanted to go into more detail and see all of the individual tasks, you can do that by just switching to the All Tasks tab at the top of the page there. And this just shows all of the individual tasks rather than the categories. So it's just a slightly more detailed view. You can see the owner and the due dates of the tasks and the current status. And you also have all of the same advanced filtering options at the top there. So if you did just want to use this area to come and see all of your tasks for a specific client, rather than having to go into that client, it's probably just as quick as doing that, if not quicker. So yeah, that's just another nice update, which we hope you find helpful. So just before we go into our Q&A session, we've got a final question, which is, after this session, which of these task features will you start using more? So out of everything that we've covered today, we'd just like to know which you see as being most beneficial for your company. And you can select as many as apply as well. Great. So we've got some results in, and it looks like all of the features are going to be used more after this, which is great to see, but in particular the dashboard summary feature, which is probably the biggest one, so that's expected. But yeah, all of them will be being used, so that's great to see. Thank you for answering. And so I'll just take you through our resources and then we'll go into the Q&A after that. So we have got the Help Centre, which you can access from within Clinked if you didn't know. So just by going to your profile and selecting the Help button, that will take you straight there. Some people do prefer to switch this off. So if that's the case, you can also access the Help and Learning Centre from our website, clinked.com. So you'll just need to go to the Resources tab and select the Help and Learning Centre from there. So this is where you can access sort of all of our different help articles and webinars as well. We also have our YouTube channel, so we upload all of these webinars onto our YouTube channel, and there's also some quick sort of tutorials on specific features there as well. And then finally, we've got our support team who you can contact if you've got any technical issues or just any questions about anything within your portal. So you can contact them at support@clinked.com. And with that, we will go into our Q&A session. So I'll pass over to Candice, who's running things.
Thank you, Anna. And Hannah, thank you so much for that very insightful webinar. We do have a few questions already coming from participants. Just a quick reminder, you can either raise your hand, it should be at the bottom of your screen if you want to ask a question live, or you can just pop them in the Q&A or the chat box and we'll be able to answer your questions. So we have a first one, which is from Karen, who's asking, when copying the task category, does it carry across the priority too?
Yeah, so when you copy a task category, it does copy over the task priority. It won't copy over the task assignee or anything else, but the priority is copied over.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Anna. Hopefully, Karen, that answers your question. We have another one from George who is asking, what are the next upgrades you're going to release for tasks? That's a good one.
So we're hoping to introduce a feature called waterfall tasks. So it's going to work something like when you sort of complete a task, it will sort of trigger other things to happen within tasks. But yeah, we'll keep you up to date on when that's going to be released.
Lovely. Thank you, Hannah. We have another question from May, who is asking, how do you create a category in tasks?
So that one's, yeah, nice and straightforward. So if you just go into the group and then just go back into the task section, you'll see sort of on the top right, there's a green button that says plus a new category. And you just, simply need to click on that, and then you just follow the steps to create a new category.
Perfect. Hopefully May that answer your question. Otherwise, we do run once a month group onboarding sessions for refreshers, and I believe we cover this within the webinar. So if you're ever interested, you'll receive the link very soon to sign up for the next session. We have a question from Phil, who is asking, can you create tasks in bulk?
Yeah, Anna, do you want to take that one?
Yes, sure. So that's a good question. You can import tasks in bulk to the portal, but first you'll just need to create a CSV file where you're listing all of the tasks and also any other fields that you want to include. So if you go to the task section within your portal, and select the drop down next to where it says new category, as Hannah just explained, there will be an import via CSV option. And if you click that, you can actually download a sample CSV file so that you've got the sort of template, and then you can just list all of your tasks and import them in.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you both. Yeah, and Phil, try this out. And if it doesn't work, you can always send an email at support@clinked.com and we can assist you there. We have another question from Archie, who is asking, can I link tasks to files?
Yeah, so I believe that when you create a file, if you go to sort of the bottom tab, there's an option there to link it to a task.
Okay, perfect. Hopefully, Archie, that helps you as well. I think that is all on the question side, so we can maybe give a few more seconds to everyone to make sure if you have any last minute questions that pop in their mind. Again, feel free to pop them in the Q&A or the chat box or raise your hand and we can help you out. Otherwise, you can send it to support@clinked.com. We'll be able to assist you from there.
Yeah, so it looks like that's all of our questions for today. So yeah, thanks everyone for joining. Yeah, we appreciate you joining today. But yeah, enjoy the rest of your day and see you soon.